Hello everyone, welcome to Biblical Prepping. I'm Judith Garten and this is the prepper portion. And I have this display again to put out here for everyone to see. I've got a few products I'm going to be reviewing today, as long as everything continues to go well. But before I do that, I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about preparedness. Throughout the years, I've been in preparedness for over 30 years, and throughout those decades, I could say, it seems that a lot of people like to believe that a person who is into preparedness, food storage and whatnot, tends to be an Armageddonist. And I've said that before in some of the other videos. People believe that you're waiting for the end of the world. And I suppose there are some of us out there that do believe that they are preparing for the end of the world when things will get critical and whatnot in the economy, in the world, wars, rumors of wars, and all of the other scriptures that do come into play. And of course, this is biblical prepping, which means we believe that it is biblical to be prepared. When you look at the different stories throughout the Bible, you have Joseph, who counseled Pharaoh to store up the grains for a period of time because there was going to become a famine that was equal to the time that they would have to prepare. And the famine came. You look at Noah and how God counseled Noah to build the boat, commanded him to build the boat, and then showed him how to do all of the things he needed to do through revelation. Well, here's the interesting thing. In today's day and age, we have experiences that could come up and we should be prepared for them. I will give you an example. My mind over the years has just learned to be prepared for things. I prefer to have, I shouldn't just say I like to, I prefer to have things on hand that will help us get through if there is an emergency. Now this is the week of November 20th and it is Thanksgiving week of 2023. And literally 5 years ago, a week prior to this, we were in a similar circumstance as we are today. Yesterday, we got our weather report wind warnings, and we are experiencing 25 to 35 mile per hour winds up here in the mountains. And we can have gusts of up to 65 miles per hour. And that's pretty good winds, it is. We live in an area where there are a lot of huge old trees. Branches fall, power goes out, and we need to be ready. Now, I will say that ice storm we had 5 years ago, I have mentioned before, it was actually more of a perfect situation than what we're experiencing this week because our temperatures are warmer, we don't have snow, we don't have ice. So we are, when it comes to the possibility of losing your electricity, you need to have your freezers ready, your refrigerators ready, whatever cold storage you have, you need to be prepared. Whether that is putting ice in those refrigerators or freezers or other objects. Now, years ago, shortly after that 2018 incident, I was taught to put bottles of ice or water, and allow them to freeze in the refrigerator. But a few years after that, we had another experience as far as being snowed in and iced in because we didn't have snow tires or chains for our vehicle and it was not four-wheel drive. So we were actually kind of on lockdown for 7 weeks. And thank goodness, praise God for our neighbors because they came through and when we needed groceries, they were able to pick them up for us. But if there weren't neighbors where we could plan on that, we need to have things available and ready. Examples, dairy products. Your options are freeze-dried dairy products, which there are some amazing freeze-dried cheeses out there that can be rehydrated and used for cooking and eating fresh per se. If you're having something like a salad and want shredded cheeses, they are amazing. I've had them in the past. I don't currently have any in our food storage because our budget has not allowed for that, but we will be putting some up over the next year or two, prayerfully, good Lord willing. And in addition to that, milk. Now, the standard option is everybody relies on powdered milk. Yes, powdered milk is an excellent option. So is powdered butter, powdered sour cream. They are great options. You should have some of those also in your home storage for emergencies. Goodness, if you're locked down for 7 weeks and you run out of butter, you could have a glitch in how you cook, how you eat, all of that. So you want to have those products on hand. But another option is to help your freezers and refrigerators. I have frozen gallons of milk because I drink milk, of course, in my coffee, and we use milk in cooking and other things. So we needed to have that milk on hand. I now have anywhere between 4 and 8 gallons at a time in freezers. And if we lose power, that frozen milk will actually help keep your freezer and refrigerator cold, need be. Now, when we had the ice storm years ago in November, we had just bought our Thanksgiving turkey and some other frozen foods. So between having the frozen turkey and the frozen meats and products, and the freezer was, the upright freezer was almost packed full at that time. It was wonderful because we only lost a few bags of vegetables that were actually on the door, and that's all we lost. Everything else was perfect. And the turkey, before I had to take it out over the weekend, it was a big turkey. It was a 20-something pounder, 22, 24. It was a big one. That turkey kept our freezer cold and the products frozen for 5 days until the power came back on. We also were able, during that ice storm, to go outside and chisel ice. And that's why I said it's different today than it was that week. We don't have the option to go outside and do ice. So I'm going to have to pray, we don't lose power. If we do, that we are prepared enough that we will not lose our food, because Thanksgiving is in 2 days for us. So those are some ideas to be prepared. Some other things. Yesterday, as soon as I read the weather report and that we were getting winds until sometime after 6 p.m. this evening, and that those winds could knock down power lines and branches and whatnot, I told Jim, and we went outside. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that everything outdoors is secure. You don't need something flying and hitting your home, your windows, your vehicle, or your neighbors. So take care of that. The other thing is, what have you got that needs to be charged? Which reminds me, my phone is sitting on the counter and it's not plugged in. While we have power, I should have my phone plugged in case we need it for emergencies. The same with Jim's. It should stay plugged in all day today in case we need it for emergencies. Other things, hold that thought. So back to what I was saying. A couple of other things to have on hand could be rechargeable lights. This is one of two that we have. I'm trying to, I can't tell where the best place to hold it is. It is an LED light. Now, a lot of people are not into the LED lights. I understand. We've switched out a lot of our lights and fixtures to LEDs because we're hoping to save energy on our constantly rising electric bill. But this set, of which we have two, is absolutely wonderful. It has a stand that it magnetically hooks to, and we have these over the bed. There are reading lights now. We don't have to have a reading light on the end table or standing next to the bed in any way, or clipped on our book. This is our reading lamp, and it is rechargeable every few days just because I plug it in with the USB cord that it has, and I recharge it so that I always have this. And we did lose power shortly after putting these up over our bed, and it was really interesting. First my thought was, oh no, I can't see where I'm going. Where's my phone? I can't find anything. And it was the middle of the night, and I thought, I reached up and I grabbed my light, and it just turns on like so. It's a touch light. It has 3 settings, which is absolutely perfect. I used this to get up, check on the house really quick, make sure the doors were secured. Jim was asleep by then, and I used the bathroom really fast, of course. And then I went back to bed, and I had this right there over my head again on its little stand where it is screwed into the wall. It's magnet holding it tight, and we were ready to go till morning. These are absolutely wonderful and very handy, and I will be putting a link for these in the description. also a radio. We have this one. We picked this one up. It is solar powered. Jim did test it one day. We went all the way 20, 30, 40 miles away from here, a good hour's drive in the mountains. And he took this radio and he tested it. Now I will say it had some difficulty picking up AM and FM up on top of the mountain, but he took the antenna, there we go, and he extended it all the way and then actually leaned the antenna up against our car, which acted as a booster, and we were able to pick up signal again. So that you might have to play with that. Test your products before you go and need to use them. This one has a flashlight. It has AM, FM. It is solar and also hand crank. I've used hand crank things in the past, and I can testify to the fact that it takes a lot of cranking. So if you have the option for solar, solar is your best bet. It also has an emergency siren, which I will not play for you because I hit it the other day by accident, and it's very loud. But if you need it, you've got it. We also have another radio that picks up, I believe Jim said it's shortwave. I will post photos of both of those in this video so that you can see them. And also, again, like I said, the links will be in the description below. These are great things to have on hand. So I went around yesterday and made sure the phone was charged, the lights were charged, and I'd actually like to get some more of these, at least one in every room, because if you're caught in a room in the dark, you'll have the light handy. These are wonderful. What are some of the other options? You want to make sure that if you grind your coffee, grind it in advance, or I will be reviewing these products coming up. Make sure you have a hand grinder. But how are you going to make coffee if your stove doesn't work? Options. What about a hot plate, which we have not grabbed yet? We need a hot plate that runs on those small cans of gas that you can keep easily in your shed or in an outbuilding of some kind. You can keep those cans of gas like what they use for Coleman lanterns. Those are handy. You can buy usually a single, a 2-pack, 4-pack, and 6-packs. And once in a blue moon, I have seen 12 packs. Very blue moon. These are things you need to think of in advance. Being prepared becomes a mentality. It becomes a point where you know so well what you have on hand in your home and in your shed that you can get through whatever comes your way. I have also, and I think I still have the photos, I will try and track those down and see if I can include those. We had another power outage just as I had finished up a shower one day and drying my hair, and the power outage, and I hadn't made my coffee yet. Doggone it. This is another option. If you have a fireplace and it's cold enough, you can use that. If you have a wood-burning stove that is built in a way that you can heat your coffee up there, that is an option. Or what I did was run outside. I grabbed my coffee pot. You've all seen this before. I grabbed my percolator, started the barbecue grill, and perked my coffee. Now, when we had that ice storm in 2018, I made coffee over in the fireplace. Now, our fireplace is nothing fancy. It's just actually for atmosphere. It's just a decorative fireplace. It does burn wood, so that is there. But it's not for specifically heating the whole house. But I was able to make coffee for my morning, and I started all mornings with a nice hot pot of coffee. It took a lot longer in the fireplace than it does on the grill. This is a camp specifically made for camping. It is a camp percolator. We also have another one that is larger than this and is in the cupboard. So we do have options. Make sure you have options available. These pans are not fireproof. These handles cannot be on fire or over fire. They will dry terribly or melt. I have other pots and pans similar. However, we do have, and you've seen it before, my cast iron Dutch oven, way in the back in the corner. It might be hiding behind the coffee grinder here. Let's see, way back in the corner. We also have additional cast iron pans. We have a griddle that is two-sided. We also have 3 smaller and 1 standard large size. I think it's a 10 or 11 inch cast iron fry pans. You can cook so many things in those on an open fire. If you have a fire pit, make sure you have a grate for the top so that you can use that if you need to. Think ahead. Planning. If you are uncomfortable with people feeling like you're planning for Armageddon, start talking to them about how you're ready in an emergency, like a snowstorm, an ice storm, a flood, that you are ready. And you're not just ready for yourself. You're ready to help them, friends, family, and neighbors. I hope this helps you in developing that fast thinking. Blessings and shalom.